welcome everyone today. I'm just going to get my notes slide up. Really delighted to speak to you all. My name's Holly Whittles and I'll just be running you through why I think you should choose a career in IT. So just for the next 15 minutes, I just want to challenge you to try and put your phones down and listen to what I'm going to be telling you and not be distracted and try and be present in the moment. So I am director of Purple Frog Systems and I'm also director of another company called Fraggleworks. My background's corporate, and the reason why we set up our own company is because we wanted to make a difference and also do something that we really loved. I've been chair of the British Computer Society, and Purple Frog works with global brands, blue chips, and Fraggleworks specialises in small to medium companies. So with my two different hats on, I'm working with a whole different variety of businesses in the IT world. So I'm wondering if you've ever even thought about a career in IT, and it's certainly opened lots of doors for me. I did a business studies GCSE, which then led on to a business studies and economics degree at university. And then that's led on to a whole career just in IT and tech. And it's given me the opportunity to travel the world and meet some really, really amazing people, some of which I've put on the slide there. So Purple Frog Systems was actually founded in 2006, I can't even get the year right, 2006. And we help companies achieve their data potential. So we look at data capturing, we cleanse data, we transform it, and we provide analytics. So all of that sounds very geeky and technical, but essentially what we do is we use tools like machine learning and artificial intelligence to work with clients and give them proper data solutions. But did you know that we're in the fourth industrial revolution? So technology has never been more important, and technology has immersed itself throughout society, and you're using things like artificial intelligence without even realizing it. So what is artificial intelligence? So basically it's a simulation of human intelligence in machines that have been programmed to think like us and also to mimic our actions. So I've just put an example there of what Hollywood thinks artificial intelligence is. So things like Terminator and RoboCop, there's loads of films that they've made about robots taking over the world. But actually in real life, it's much easier to work with AI. So things like Google Maps and taxi ride apps, if you've got a phone, you're trying to dial a taxi, it's using an artificial intelligence algorithm. So it's trying to work out where you are and where the nearest taxi is. That's a very simple form of AI. Face detection, face recognition when you're signing into your phones and your iPads, using things like autocorrect when you're typing things, it's trying to predict what you're trying to type, text editors, search and chat bots, things like Netflix when it's showing you a load of thumbnails of films that you could watch. All of those thumbnails are tailored specifically to you and what it thinks that you're going to watch. So it's using machine learning. Things like chatbots and digital assistants, Alexa and Siri, these are all kind of AI tools, and obviously things like social media and electronic payments. So that kind of brings me on to where I started, was learning about people like Alan Turing, who was an amazing British mathematician, and he took a real leading role in breaking Nazi ciphers in World War II. And basically he came up with a test of, can you have a text-based conversation with someone that you can't see? And can you be fooled into thinking it's a human, not a computer? So that's how it works out whether you pass the test or not. And a computer program has actually passed the test. It managed to trick someone. It simulates being a 13-year-old Ukrainian boy. But things like Siri and Alexa, there's no way that they could pass the Turing test because they can't think for themselves. They're literally giving you answers to questions. So what we do is we work with big data. We work with leading brands, high street names around the world. And we take data from lots of different systems that don't talk to each other, and we use them to provide real-time reporting and analytics. So for example, we work with a high street brand who want to know what they're selling in real time. So when you're in a shop, it's going through the till. we are providing reporting on that straight away, so they can replenish their stock and they can send replacement goods, and they can start to analyse which stores are performing well, which types of good and stocks are selling really well for them. So this can help them organise their supply chains. So we can use things like geospatial data and input that into it. We also work with a national chain of gyms, and they want to understand the data analytics behind customer behaviour. So things like how long do we spend in a gym, which machines do we go on, all these different things can get fed into a machine learning tool where it's looking for patterns in data, and then it can predict who is likely to maybe hand in their gym membership if they haven't been going to the gym very often, and then why that is useful to a business. Well, they can send them a discount or a marketing opportunity. So you're trying to keep your customers within the gym and not hand in their notice before they even realize they wanted to. So AI can predict the future based on patterns that it's seeing in data. So we work with many different sectors of organizations, including the world's largest space agency, which obviously I cannot name, but there's only one big national space agency, so you should be able to guess who I'm talking about. So how we do that, we use cloud-based solutions to work with our customers. And some of our customers, we've not even met them face to face. So cloud computing basically means storing and accessing data and programs over the internet. So instead of using a computer or a server to store it all, we're storing it up in the cloud, essentially the internet. And we're a Microsoft partner, so we specialize in Microsoft tech solutions. But also we try and do a lot of work in the community as well. So we've joined up to STEM. So we are a STEM ambassador. So we're trying to promote science, technology, maths, all of these engineering key things that we think are really important when you're at school that you should be learning, so you can take out a career in IT. So we do this by offering time in after school clubs. We're going to do keynote talks. We help out at STEM days, like we did one at RAF Cosford a few years ago, and we do careers insight workshops. And also one of the other directors of the business, he was part of the Bloodhound World Land Speed Challenge. So we get to do some really fun things through being a STEM ambassador. I'm also an enterprise advisor. So this is a voluntary role where I volunteer my time to go into schools and I deliver talks exactly like the one I'm doing now. And I try and encourage you to be the best person that you can be, but also I try and push the school to give them opportunities and connect businesses with schools. It's very much about working out your pathways and where you want to be in the future and opening doors to help you get there. And in terms of Purple Frog in the global community, we help organise lots of different conferences. So the largest one that we organise is something called SQL Bits. It's Europe's largest Microsoft data conference. We have generally 2,500 registrants. There's usually a 1 million turnover budget to run the conference. And literally today, we've just found out we've won the award for the best virtual conference of this year. So obviously it's been quite a challenging year for running conferences, and we were going to be running this one this year in the Excel Centre in London, because there's not many venues left that can actually take a couple of thousand delegates all at the same time, and Excel is one of those. But obviously that became a Nightingale hospital, and obviously we couldn't put on an in-person conference anyway, so we had to take it all virtual. So there was a lot of hard work went on behind the scenes trying to find a platform that could cope with thousands and thousands of delegates, hundreds of speakers, hundreds of sponsors, loads of different tracks and talks all going on at the same time, and providing people with networking opportunities, sponsorship opportunities. So things like Teams and Zoom wouldn't have been able to scale up to meet that challenge. So quite pleased actually today we've just found out we've won that award. But also Microsoft have awarded one of the directors of our company as an MVP. So that stands for Most Valued Professional. And there's only a couple of hundred of these around the world. And there's only one he's only one of 12 in the UK. And basically what this means is Microsoft gives us access to their future roadmap as to where they're going to be going. So we can better advise our clients to the technology that's going to be becoming available to them. So through these opportunities, we get to go all over the world speaking and delivering conferences. And that's very much part of our marketing strategy, but also our giving back to the community. So we've been all those different places. So it's a fantastic world to be in. So some of my advice that I would give to you is choosing jobs and courses that you think you're going to enjoy, and it's trying things, and you never know, you might really enjoy them. And I remember once we were delivering this talk, and I think it was just badged as a talk on IT, and there's this one boy didn't want to go into it, so it was really, really boring, and then he came out the other end of it, and I think he just thought that IT was fixing computers or taking them apart. And there's so much more to it. There's so many different roles that you can have within IT. So I definitely encourage it as a career choice. But you can start building your CV now, thinking about the qualifications you're going to do, getting everything ordered and getting your CV telling a really, really good story. And work experience is going to be a really important part of that. And I know it's really hard, we can't really do work experience at the moment, but some companies are offering virtual work experience. So start researching potential companies that you might want to go and do some work experience, whether it's in 1 year's time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, whenever it is. And you can utilize things like your summer holidays and half terms. You don't have to wait for the school to tell you can do it. If you want to go and do a day's work experience and you've got a day off, why not go and work with an employer? But it's really important to keep a record of what you've done, because when we're going to interview you, we want to know not just what grades you've got, we want to know about you, the person. We want to know what your attitude is. Have you got a can-do attitude? Are you positive and enthusiastic? What's your personality like? Do you appear to be interested in the job that we're talking about? What else have you done outside of your grades? Are you in a sports team? Have you done music? We want to know about you, because if you've got the right personality and the right approach, we can pretty much teach you everything else that you need to know. And things like starting to optimize social media. So checking what privacy settings you've got, locking down things, hiding irrelevant content, being really wary what you're posting online, because it stays on the internet forever. And believe me, employers do look at your social profiles. And from a jobs point of view, a great platform is something like LinkedIn. So you can start building a profile on there. But in terms of getting into tech, I would embrace it as much as you can. So getting proficient in things like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, starting to learn basic coding, things like Python. There are apps that can help you learn and understand code. So I've put two there. There's a Lego app and there's also a Bebot app. Both of these are free. Getting into things like gaming, Minecraft, where you start building things and learning how things are constructed. Really, really good starting point. And joining code clubs like STEM, or going to STEM talks, or going to as many different talks like this. And you can visit things like the National Museum of Computing, like John mentioned in the previous talk. And because you can't actually go to the museum at the moment, what the National Museum of Computing are doing, they're doing virtual talks. So have a look what they're putting on, because they are the home of computing. They've got a full working Colossus there. They've got an Enigma machine. They've got every different type of computer, from a BBC Basic all the way up to, well, I've got a quantum computer, but they've got quite a few different computers there. And then locally, we've got things like Ingenuity and Ironbridge. So there's plenty of different places you can go to start learning more about tech. So my tips are, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Steve Jobs, who you should know from Apple. Very interesting autobiography if you haven't read it. But his quote was, "Your time's precious, don't waste it living someone else's life." So embrace every opportunity, start thinking about your CV, maybe using LinkedIn, work experience, look at your social profile settings, and be positive, and good luck.